"You need to leave, sir," said the new waitress to the Millionaire CEO, moments before a $200 million deal that could change everything. But what if I told you that 5 simple words could rewrite a billionaire's entire life? Picture this. Vincent Caldwell, one of America's most powerful CEOs, sits inside a quiet roadside diner just outside Denver. It's nothing fancy. Worn leather booths, flickering neon lights, and the comforting scent of coffee and apple pie. But tonight, this modest place holds the weight of Vincent's entire empire. At 39, he's built a fortune that most could only dream of. Yet, everything now hangs on a single handshake, a $200 million deal that could secure his company's future. He checks his gold watch again, the 3rd time in 5 minutes. His tailored suit and polished shoes make him look out of place among the locals in jeans and flannel shirts. The hum of quiet chatter fills the room until she appears, a young waitress with tired eyes and flour-dusted hands. Her uniform is worn, but she carries herself with quiet grace. Without hesitation, she walks straight to Vincent's table and says the words that will haunt him for years to come. "You need to leave, sir." The diner goes silent. Forks stop clinking. Heads turn. Vincent blinks, unsure he heard her right. In less than an hour, the biggest investors on the West Coast will be walking through that door. And this waitress is asking him to leave. "Where are you watching from tonight?" Vincent stares at her. "Excuse me?" he asks, barely above a whisper. Her name tag reads Lily. She stands firm, though her hands tremble slightly around her notepad. She can't be more than 35. Auburn hair tied back in a simple ponytail, eyes filled with quiet sorrow. I said, "You need to leave." Lily repeats softly, but with unshakable resolve. "This table is reserved." Vincent looks around the half-empty diner. A dozen booths sit open, yet all eyes are on them. Conversations have shrunk to whispers. "Reserved?" Vincent's tone carries the authority of a man used to being obeyed. "I made a reservation 2 hours ago. Vincent Caldwell." He pulls up his phone and shows her the confirmation email. Lily barely glances at it. "Mr. Caldwell, I understand," she says carefully. "But this particular table," she gestures toward the booth, "belongs to someone else tonight. Someone who needs it more than you do." Her voice cracks slightly at the end, and Vincent notices her free hand brushing against a small locket around her neck. The owner, Frank, a kind-eyed man with silver hair and decades of weariness, emerges from behind the counter. "Lily, what's going on?" he asks, wiping his hands on his apron. "It's okay, Frank," Lily replies, never breaking eye contact with Vincent. "Mr. Caldwell was just leaving." Vincent feels his carefully planned evening slipping through his fingers. The Nakamura Group is due any moment. The partners he's been courting for months. This little diner was supposed to show them humility, simplicity, the charm of honest business. And now, a waitress is about to ruin everything. But something in Lily's eyes stops him. This isn't defiance, it's desperation. And Vincent, a man who's made billions by reading people, senses a story deeper than it appears. "Who's this table reserved for?" he asks quietly, his tone softening. Lily glances at Frank. He gives a slow, reassuring nod. "My father," she whispers. "He comes here every Thursday night. Has for 22 years, ever since my mother passed. He sits here, eats the same meal, and talks to her picture." Her voice trembles as she dabs at her eyes with a napkin. "The doctor says he doesn't have much time left. Maybe a few weeks. This might be one of his last Thursday nights." Vincent feels something twist inside him. A memory long buried. His own father gone before they could make amends. Vincent had been too busy chasing success, closing deals, making headlines, and missed his father's final days completely. "I'm sorry for your loss," Vincent says softly. "There's no other table?" "You don't understand," Lily interrupts, tears threatening to spill. "This was their table. My parents' first date was here, 1965. He proposed to her right in this booth. Every anniversary, every birthday, every celebration happened right here. When she got sick, this was their last evening together." Her fingers tighten around the locket again, and Vincent suddenly realizes it must hold her mother's picture. Then the door chimes, but it's not his investors. An elderly man walks in slowly, leaning on a walker. His eyes light up the second he sees Lily. "There's my angel," he says with a smile that melts the air. But when his gaze lands on Vincent sitting in his booth, confusion and heartbreak flicker across his face. Lily rushes to him. "Dad, it's okay," she whispers, wrapping her arm around him. "But this is our table," he murmurs, his voice trembling. "Your mother and I—" "We always sit here. She's waiting for me." The diner holds its breath. Vincent, a man who's faced boardroom wars, market crashes, and cutthroat negotiations, and suddenly finds himself in the middle of something fragile and sacred. Harold, Lily later tells him, worked as a factory foreman for nearly 5 decades. Never earned much, but built a life full of love and laughter. "Mr. Caldwell," Lily says, her voice steadier now. "My father doesn't have long. The cancer's spreading and his memory fades. But Thursday nights here with Mom's picture, those are the moments when he still remembers. I'm begging you to understand." Vincent looks at Harold, really looks, and for the first time in years, sees his own father's reflection in another man's weary eyes. He remembers the dinners missed, the phone calls unanswered, the promises broken in the name of ambition. His father died alone in a hospital bed while Vincent was sealing a deal in Tokyo, a deal he can't even remember now. The door chimes again. His assistant, Rebecca, hurries in, tablet in hand. "Mr. Caldwell," the Nakamura group called. "They're early." 15 minutes out! She glances at him, clearly puzzled by the tension hanging over such a simple place. Harold steps forward, eyes now sharp with fleeting clarity. "Young man," he says, voice trembling but strong. "I don't know who you are, but my wife and I shared our whole life in this booth. She's gone now, but I still come here every Thursday to talk to her, to remember when we thought we'd live forever." The room seems to shrink around Vincent. Every deal he's ever made, every dollar he's ever earned suddenly feels meaningless. He realizes he's standing at a crossroads, between success and something far more human. Vincent rises slowly, and the entire diner falls silent. Harold's hopeful eyes meet his. Lily stands protectively beside her father. Rebecca's phone keeps buzzing with impatient messages from the investors waiting to decide his company's fate. Then Vincent speaks. "Sir," he says gently, "my name is Vincent Caldwell, and I owe you an apology." He gestures toward the booth with genuine respect. "This is your table, and it was wrong of me to assume otherwise. Please, sit with your wife." Harold's eyes well up as gratitude replaces confusion. Lily helps him settle into the booth, and Vincent watches as Harold carefully places a small framed photo on the table, a young woman with Lily's same kind smile and soft eyes. "Helen, honey," Harold whispers to the photo. "This nice man gave us our table back." Vincent notices how Harold's frail hands tremble slightly as he straightens the picture. Smiling at his late wife as though she were still right there with him, Rebecca stands frozen, the investors forgotten. Lily looks up at Vincent, eyes glistening with emotion. In that quiet moment, surrounded by the hum of the diner and the smell of apple pie, Vincent Caldwell, a billionaire who once thought he owned the world, finally understands what it means to truly have everything. Harold's entire demeanor transformed the moment he began speaking to his wife's photograph. His voice grew stronger, even younger, as if love itself had become his medicine. Vincent felt his throat tighten. Without a word, he moved to a booth across the diner and pulled out his phone. "Rebecca, get Mr. Nakamura on the line," he said quietly. "Tell him we're moving the meeting." But before he could dial, Frank appeared beside him, holding a cup of coffee and wearing a knowing smile, the kind only a man who had seen decades of life's stories could give. "You know," Frank said gently, "I've been watching people in this diner for more than 40 years. I've seen business deals and heartbreaks, birthdays and farewells, but I've never seen anyone give up what you just did." He paused, glancing toward Harold, who now spoke animatedly to his wife's picture, his face glowing with peace. "That man fought in Vietnam," Frank continued softly. "He came home, worked hard every day to build a life with the woman he loved. When she fell ill, he never left her side. And now this place? It's where she still feels real to him." Vincent turned his gaze toward them. Lily was serving her father his usual meal, meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and green beans. Harold's face radiated warmth as he shared bites of food with the memory of his wife, lost in a world where love still lived. Around the room, other diners pretended not to watch, but their misty eyes betrayed them. For the first time in years, Vincent understood what truly mattered. 20 minutes later, the Nakamura group arrived. They found Vincent seated in a different booth, posture calm, eyes distant. Something about him had changed. The sharp confidence he was known for had softened into quiet sincerity. "Mr. Caldwell," said Mr. Nakamura, taking his seat. "Is everything all right?" Vincent smiled faintly. "Gentlemen," he began, "before we talk business, I want to tell you about a man named Harold and what he reminded me of tonight." He gestured subtly toward the elderly man, still deep in conversation with his wife's picture. There was something in Vincent's tone that made the investors lean in, curious. As Vincent spoke, the air in the diner shifted. His story wasn't a speech. It was confession, reflection, truth. He spoke about legacy, about how the worth of a person isn't measured in profits, but in compassion. What followed wasn't just a meeting. It became a moment of shared humanity. When the deal was finally signed that night, it didn't look anything like the plan Vincent had prepared. Instead of an aggressive expansion, he proposed a partnership focused on worker welfare and community investment. The Nakamura group, deeply moved by his story, agreed without hesitation. They spoke of honor, of their ancestors' values, and how business should build rather than break lives. Later, Mr. Nakamura confided that Vincent's transformation reminded him of his grandfather, a man who believed that true success always left the world better than it was found. When the investors left, Vincent remained seated, watching Harold finish his quiet ritual. The old man's eyes grew heavy, but his smile stayed gentle as he told his wife's picture about Lily's recent promotion at the bank. Vincent's heart ached at the pride in Harold's voice. It was the same kind of love his own father had once carried. Lily approached Vincent's table, her work apron now replaced by a soft cardigan. She looked exhausted. The kind of exhaustion that comes from fighting life's battles with quiet strength. "Lily," Vincent said softly, "I want to do something for your father, for your family." He took out a business card, scribbled a number on the back, and slid it toward her. "This is my personal number. Whatever your father needs, care, equipment, comfort, anything. Please call me." Lily's eyes filled instantly. "Sir, we can't accept charity." "It's not charity," Vincent interrupted gently. "It's gratitude." "Your father and you reminded me of something I'd lost. My own dad passed while I was too busy to say goodbye. I can't fix that, but maybe I can honor him by helping Harold spend his remaining time surrounded by love." Frank walked over, carrying Harold's coat. As Lily helped her father to his feet, Harold stopped beside Vincent's table and extended a trembling hand. "Thank you, young man," he said warmly. "Helen would have liked you. She always said, the measure of a man isn't what he owns, but what he's willing to give away." Those words struck deeper than any business lesson Vincent had ever learned. 3 months later, Vincent's phone rang. It was Lily. Harold had passed peacefully in his sleep. His final weeks had been comfortable and full of dignity, made easier by the medical care Vincent had arranged. Lily said her father often spoke of Vincent, the businessman who remembered how to be human. Vincent attended Harold's funeral quietly, sitting at the back as family and friends shared stories of a man who had lived richly in all the ways that truly matter. He realized then that Harold's greatest wealth wasn't in money, it was in decades of love, laughter, and loyalty. The Caldwell-Nakamura partnership thrived. But Vincent's greatest victory wasn't written in profit reports. Every Thursday night, he began visiting Maggie's diner, sometimes sitting in Harold's old booth, sometimes just sharing coffee with Frank. He created the Harold and Helen Foundation, dedicated to helping families navigate end-of-life care with dignity and grace. And in the gentle hum of that little diner, where the scent of coffee and apple pie lingered in the air, Vincent finally understood what it meant to build something that truly lasts.